governor's proposal affects 90% of the towns and villages in Broome County. To put that in perspective, that's approximately $1.4 million worth of AIM cuts to towns and villages.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a new year. It's a new New York, but unfortunately it is the same old shell game. We're facing a $3 billion deficit in the state of New York, and the executive intends to close that deficit, as he typically has done, on the back of the taxpayer. Why are New Yorkers leaving? Why do we have an out-migration problem? It's the taxes. And this funding sweep means only one of two things: increased taxes or less services for families throughout the communities that I represent. And none of these options work for people, none of them. So this really does send a clear message to the people of upstate New York. The governor is essentially saying, by this sweep, we don't care about you, and we don't need you, and you might as well just leave. And my answer to that, and I know that the Assemblyman concurs, the answer is no. We don't want you to do that. So I'm here today to stand in solidarity with the men and women behind me, Republicans and Democrats alike, to push back and to fight and to ensure that this executive knows that this proposal is simply unacceptable. If Albany wants to close the $3 billion budget gap, I'm here to tell you the only thing they need to do is a little bit of self-reflecting.
Yeah, the $305,000 cut to the town of Union, which represents more than 1/4 of the population of Broome County, is a difficult cut for us. It will represent 4.3 people being cut this year. If we lose that aid, it also puts us above the tax cap, so our residents will get dinged a second time because we're going to be above the tax cap.
$89,000 pays 3 salaries, 2 to 3 salaries in Shenango. That means 3 families in the town of Shenango are without their livelihood. So we don't run on big numbers. These people don't make a lot of money, and it's putting us at a disadvantage to get the work done. One other thing I'd like to bring to light is the natural disasters that we've all been enduring. All of my colleagues have had to put their towns back together again after torrential rains and flooding and flash flooding and snowfalls, and you have to have fiscal responsibility to put your town back together. And when you plan on a check coming for $89,000 and it doesn't come, it puts you at a tremendous disadvantage, and it does not allow you to take the care and the money to put back into the community. And so it's absolutely imperative that this money stays in our budget.
You put the 2% cap on us. Now I know at Vestal I'm going to have to raise 3.5 to 4, which means the cap goes out the window. What does he want?
I wonder if people in Albany are talking to each other. I read the comments of the state budget director, and it was like, this is no big deal for these municipalities because they're going to have increased sales tax. Well, truth is, the state tells us when they give us state aid where we put that, and we have to put it in the general fund. The state also tells us we cannot put sales tax revenue in our general fund. Hello? We can't do that.
This isn't about just mayors and supervisors here. We represent the people, and all the people in our community. And these people have paid taxes to the state. And this money is what now wants to be removed from us, from our municipalities. So it's a relatively simple shell game to me. It's like, well, if you take your individual taxpayers' money away from us, the only place we have left to balance our budget is to increase our taxes. And of course, we diligently try to stay underneath that tax cap. But ultimately, everyone will be taxed twice for this loss. You've paid the state for it, and now you'll pay the municipality to try to maintain those services, again, to cover up that balance.
So in order to fill this gap, as everybody has been saying, we'd either have to increase taxes, cut services, such as cutting hours at Village Hall is open, less road work, cutting number of days we collect garbage, street sweeping, raise fees for some of our smaller services like death and birth certificates, even cutting personnel, which cuts into public safety. And that's not something any of us want to do.